you're good like that. Yeah, you're good like that. Even when it's all going wrong, my heart is singing a different song, and I can't explain it. No, I can't contain it. It's just inside me. Got that Sunday morning feeling, I can't hide it. Counting blessings to the ceiling. I believe that you are working everything for good. No denying. Your love is shining. That Sunday morning feeling. That Sunday morning feeling. Some people may never understand, but you're the reason I clap my hands. 'Cause you're good like that. Yeah, you're good like that. The kind of joy money never could buy. The kind of peace that surpasses my mind. No, I can't explain it. No, I can't contain it. It's just inside me. Oh, got that Sunday morning feeling. I can't hide it. I can't hide it. Counting blessings to the ceiling. I believe that you are working everything for good. No denying. Your love is shining. That Sunday morning feeling. Sunday morning feeling. That Sunday morning feeling. You're making everything alright. So I'm dancing down the aisles in my mind. Dancing, yeah, yeah. That's why I keep on throwing my hands up. You know I won't stop singing 'cause I've got that Sunday morning kind of vibe. It's just inside me. Got that Sunday morning feeling. I can't hide it. I can't hide it. Counting blessings to the ceiling. I believe that you are working everything for good. No denying. No denying. Your love is shining. That Sunday morning feeling. Sunday morning feeling. That Sunday morning feeling. Sunday morning
Good morning, everyone. How are you? Morning. We want to extend a very special Happy Father's Day to all the dads out there, to all of the stepfathers, all of the men who basically, show up and step up for everyone in their lives. So happy Father's Day to all of you, and welcome to Forward Point. Here at Forward Point, we are a community of faith, hope, and love, helping people find their because we believe you were created on and we want to be part of that story any way we can.
Absolutely. And I don't know if y'all know this, but in honor of Father's Day, I was given this shirt by my daughter because I have a granddaughter for the first time, so I go by Pop Pop. So she got me this World's Greatest Pop Pop shirt, but she also knows that I love popcorn, so it kind of matched perfectly.
Very fitting, very fitting.
Very fitting. If you're new here to Ford Point, we want to give you a very special welcome and thank you for joining us this morning. We're so happy that you're here. Just a few things what to expect. If you haven't gotten it already, we like to give you a special gift, some banana bread, and a small little token. If you haven't gotten it, no worries. At some point before you leave today, right outside these doors, there's a table there that says welcome. You can get it there before you leave. Over the next 75 minutes or so, just participate any way you feel comfortable by sitting, standing, enjoying some coffee or some water. We're just so happy that you're here this morning.
Absolutely. We would like to also get you connected with us through our digital connection card. So if you're new here, haven't done it before, go ahead and take out your phone and text the word welcome to 315-883-2213. We can just gather a little more information from you and then send you a token of our appreciation in the mail. I love snail mail still, so that is a fun way to get connected. Also, you can join us on all social media platforms. You never know when a like or a share or a check-in or something that you share will become part of somebody else's story. So we do encourage you to do that. And lastly, most effectively to get in contact with us, get all of our information, go to your app store and download the Church Center app. That's going to give you a lot more information, an easy way to get connected and stay connected.
And this Friday, we've been doing this thing called Food Truck Fridays, and it's been an awesome event. We're having delicious food come by right by where Love Handles is. It's been really good. I'm actually really looking forward to this Friday because it is Greek, and I love a good gyro. Gyros are very good.
Yes.
And it's called Biblos Street Grill.
Oh.
It's
a gyro.
No. So yesterday at the men's breakfast, I gave a story of why I got chastised because I have a very thick Brooklyn accent, and I've always said gyro all my life. And believe it or not, when I lived in San Antonio briefly, I went to a nice Greek place, and I went there. There was a Greek couple that owned it, older, and I said, "Can I have a gyro?" And he looked at me like I basically cursed him out, and he was like, "Don't you ever call it a gyro. It's gyro. If you ever call it a gyro again, you cannot eat here ever again." I was like, "Okay, I guess it's gyro." And ever since then.
I like it. All right, who here likes to party? We're some party people, right? So our men's ministry have been working very hard to put together Party in the Wood. And that is going to be every Thursday starting July 3rd in the Love Handles parking lot. We've already started some construction on the side of the building to give us a little more space for some games, live music, free food. So invite your friends, invite your neighbors. Let's just celebrate on Thursdays throughout the summer. And of course, we have our customer appreciation one is the first one on July 3rd. So we encourage you again to come, invite someone 6 to 8 every Thursday. We're getting so excited about that.
Yeah, so what, 3 years? Celebrating 3 years?
3 years, yes.
Handles?
2, wow. I've been there for 2 and we're celebrating 3.
Wow.
It's crazy how time flies.
Yeah. So I want y'all to do me a favor. When you say party in the wood, don't say just party in the wood. Say party in the wood.
Oh.
Party in the wood. There we go.
Uh-huh.
There you go. So kids, it's about that time. It's time to release the children.
Children can be dismissed. And we're going to continue with our gathering. Thank you so much.
Good morning, Ford Point. How are you today? So great to see all of you. It's nice to be able to say good morning and not do a double take to really wonder if it's the morning or evening. Thankful for all of you who joined us last week in the evening at 7 o'clock. A little different feel, but we're back to our regularly scheduled program this morning. I just want to reiterate some of the things that we talked about this morning for the Party in the Wood that's going to be starting in July and August. As Sonia mentioned, the first one is going to be our Dollar Froyo celebration for our customers and celebrate all the money that's been able to be given through Love Handles. By the time we get there, we'll probably be around $55,000 that has been given over the last 3 years to local charities, thanks to you guys investing into Love Handles starting 4 years ago. So thankful for that and for all that's going on. You can see she mentioned some of the work that's being done on the side there. If you've been to Love Handles, then you know the water has already been expelled on the outside and kind of created a lake sometimes and a river. So Lee's been working really hard with some local construction guys and some volunteers to get the drainage underneath, so we will now be able to use this area. We still have some work to do. You see with the fence, it's going to go all the way up to the fence there and create some more usable space for us to have some live music and fun place for the kiddos to hang and to do different things. So we're super excited for that. So hopefully it will be a lot of fun over there July and August. If you are available, we have some things that we've gotten. We've gotten some big inflatable like carnival type games. We have some guys who are going to be cooking free food for the community. So we're going to need some help running those games for cleanup, those kind of things. If you're able to volunteer for one Thursday or for many Thursdays, if you could pull out your phones, because you'll probably use them all sorts of different ways throughout this morning. But if you text the word party to the church line there, that'll just help us kind of get an idea that you're interested in volunteering for one of those or all of those nights, and I'll reach out to you and we'll get you on a schedule. It doesn't require a whole lot of skills other than just to come and have fun. And really a big reason that we're doing this is we want to build bridges to eventually having our own space right across the street from Love Handles there. And as we're working towards that, one of the things that we want to do kind of right out of the gate is we want to offer this kind of meal-based connections with our community. This is just different events that we're going to offer where it's just based around free food and a table where we're going to invite community members to come in and just get to know them through different series, through different programs. And one of the first programs we want to do is run an Alpha program is what it's called. And it's just a real basic program that kind of goes over a lot of the questions that people might have about faith. Is the Bible reliable? Can it be trusted? Just all sorts of different topics over the course of a series of weeks where we're going to have a meal and then just go over through different table discussions, some of those topics. So we're going to be preparing over the summer to do some training for those. So if you're interested in volunteering and serving for those, we have another fun word that you can text to the church line there that just kind of gives us an idea that might be something you're interested in doing, either preparing food or helping set up, or maybe leading one of the table discussions. So if that's you, we're going to be talking about over the next couple weeks just the opportunity to text the word Alpha to the church line there, and that will help us to get you in the know about those trainings as we solidify them over the summer, okay? Last but not least, we've been talking about the potential to have questions throughout our morning conversation here. Over the past few weeks, the guys in the back told me, hey, we made a mistake. We weren't really doing it correctly. There were some questions that came in, but we didn't realize it. So we think we've worked out the kinks. So if you had some questions over the last few weeks, we apologize for not being aware of those and getting to them, but we think we have it all worked out. So just be mindful of that and feel free to text anything that might come up. And if we have some time towards the end of our conversation, we will get to those, okay? Last week, I shared with you about this interaction I had with the Sirius XM satellite company. If you remember, they had this banner that's been popping up in my car with a phone number that says, hey, we have a deal for you, call this number. And I don't know who in their right mind pays for radio, but I guess there must be some people out there. So I said, you know what, I'm going to call this number and I'm going to get them to remove this banner that's on my car because it feels like such an invasion of privacy, right, where they can come into my car and I can't get rid of this little banner without pressing this X button. And if I'm driving, that could cause an accident and then I'd have to sue them for the damages because it was their distraction. So I'm going to save them the trouble. So I thought I would share with you my conversation. At first, I called them. I called the number and they said, we are experiencing receiving a high volume of calls right now. And I was thinking, I bet you, yeah, they're all calling to get you to remove this banner off of their display there. So they had the option to text. So I'm going to share with you my text conversation with this company. They introduced himself and, can I have your name? James Doyle. How are you doing today? I'm fine, thank you. He says, great. I understand the reason you have connected us today is to sign up for our service. You wish. Please be assured I'm here to help you. Is this for the 2023 Chevrolet? No, I'm texting because I want the banner that pops up on my screen in my Pacifica to go away. I do understand that. However, as per checking here on your 2022 Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid, it is currently in closed status with no active subscriptions. May I know the exact text you are seeing in your car radio? So I sent them the same picture that I sent you guys. And I guess the picture didn't go through because he asked if I was still there. And they said, oh, we can't receive pictures. So I texted it and they said, I do understand, we can't do the pictures. And I said, every time I turn the car on, it pops up and doesn't go away until I press the X. I do understand. Isn't that so kind? He understands. I do understand that. And with that being said, we can go ahead and check the newest promotional offers we have right now. I don't want your service, right? Since the 2022 Chrysler Pacifica Hybrid is already closed with no active subscriptions, we can go ahead and remove this from your existing account. On that case, your existing account will be closed. Thank you. You're welcome. Please understand anything else. And then before I let you go, do you happen to have any other inactive radios that we can activate for you today? If so, let's take advantage of one of these amazing offers we have. It would only take me a couple minutes to get started, right? You ever just feel your blood boiling even after you're starting to get what you want? Well, I tell you, it was with such joy and excitement that I got into my car the following day to turn on my car and see for the first time, this banner was still on my car when For the next 3 or 4 days, the banner was still there. But I will have you know, by the end of the week, the banner is gone, and now my car is free of this banner. Now all of my messages, I promise, on Sunday morning will be 10 times better because I've not been wrestling with my emotions throughout the week dealing with this banner. Well, today we're continuing on with our series going through the Sermon on the Mount, and we are on our next beatitude. And this is the beatitude for this morning. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God, right? We've been kind of chopping along the different parts of the Beatitudes to kind of understand what they mean and how they apply to our life. And, surprise, surprise, the first part of this, blessed, hopefully by now, if you've been with us, you know that blessed is just this idea of being happy. Jesus is saying, hey, if you want to be happy in life, guys, here are the keys. And of course, it's one of those things where as we dive into them, we think, man, if I do that, I'm not going to be happy. But we begin to realize that that's kind of the life that Jesus has called us to, this upside down life that doesn't really make sense. But when we do it, we find a true contentment. And it's kind of a redefining of what happiness is. Because if we define happiness, we think more money, bigger cars, faster cars, bigger houses, white picket fences, more dogs, more, whatever. We think of those things as being the definition of happiness. But Jesus, through this, begins to really give us a definition of what true happiness looks like. And he says, blessed, you're going to be happy when you do this. It may not be easy. It may not be fun. But there's going to be a contentment that happens when you live this way. And he says, blessed are the pure in heart. Now, the reason I kind of jumped to this is one of those weird kind of concepts that we have in our culture that we don't really understand, right? When Jesus says, blessed are the pure in heart, he doesn't refer to this, right? He's not saying that, if your heart is free from, all the cholesterol buildup, backup, things that cause heart attacks, then you're going to be happy. Granted, you probably will live longer. You're not going to die from a heart attack if your aorta is free from that kind of stuff. But that's not what he's referring to. He's not referring to this. It's probably pretty likely that you've communicated with this symbol through text message to different people, and you probably said, I love you with a heart, and you probably also to someone else said, man, I love that pizza last night, and he used the same heart icon, right? Jesus is not saying, man, when your heart emoji is pure, you're going to be happy, you're going to see Jesus. And this really begins to kind of set the stage for some of the problems we have with this word, because if you grew up in faith circles like I did, there's a good chance that you heard the phrase, right? We have to ask God into our heart. And you begin to kind of scratch your head if you're maybe new to faith, because you're like, I don't know how I get God into my heart. That phrase is not even anywhere found in the Bible, but somewhere along the line, we decided to kind of put this coming to faith transaction into this statement where you need to ask Jesus into your heart. So if you ask a typical person who, is a Christian and maybe, how do I become saved, or how do I get to heaven? How do I have a relationship with Jesus? There's a good chance that they're going to respond to you with saying, oh, you need to pray and ask God into your heart. And this is just an expression that we've kind of said at some point, and it's stuck, and now we just use it, and it's almost like doctrine. It's almost like theology for us when it's never mentioned in Scripture, and it doesn't really help us understand the mystery behind the heart. We say things like, man, I need to change my heart, or, we need to have a clean heart. And we use this word so interchangeably, it sometimes it loses its mystery. It loses kind of the essence of what Jesus is talking about. In fact, Jeremiah says in the Old Testament, he says, who can understand the heart? It's a mystery. In fact, he says, who can understand the heart? It's deceitful, it's wicked beyond, measure. So what gives here? What is the heart? The heart is this place inside of you, inside of me. It can't be quantified, it can't be x-rayed, it can't do an EKG around it. It's something that I believe is a part of the image of God that's inside of you. That is your essence, your personality. It's the heart's desire, right? It's something that separates you and I from the rest of creation. We have this core inside of us where we have thoughts and hopes and dreams and beliefs and values and things that kind of dictate why we do things and why we pursue certain things. And Jesus says, man, blessed are the pure in hearts. That there's something inside of us that can have a purity value to it, something that he sees. It's not something that the person next to you can see. It's not something that your neighbor can see. It's not something that a coworker sees, but there's something inside of you and in the core of who you are that only God can see. And he says, blessed are those who are pure in heart. So it's like, let's combine this mysterious location with this abstract idea, and Jesus lays out this beatitude, right? This purity concept. And it can be a little shaky, because you begin to think, well, how do we do that? More often than not, we read it and kind of say, oh, that sounds nice. And, maybe it looks good on a card, but we just move on to the next one. We don't really press into, what does this look like to have as a part of my life? And as a result, we develop this kind of inaccurate understanding that just kind of formulates over time as the same things are just said over and over again. It kind of becomes a fact. But this morning, what we want to look at is that purity is not an external to internal process, but an internal to an external one. You see, for me, Forward Point, I grew up in this, what would be known as purity culture. Right? There was this kind of mindset when I was young and growing up in church circles that, we wanted to create this purity culture. If you were familiar with, there was this book that came out by Joshua Harris that said, I Kissed Dating Goodbye. And there was this idea that, we didn't want to, as Christians, live lives in such a way that we were compromising our beliefs sexually. Right? We didn't want to be doing things that we weren't supposed to. And in that time, like, if you got pregnant outside of marriage, like, you practically had a scarlet letter put on you because you had done something outside of marriage with this very obvious consequence to it now. There was no hiding it. So now you kind of were, pushed to the outside of the Christian community, and you had this aura about you that you were less than pure because of your actions. And I don't know if it started just with the purity movement and it went from there, or this was just a byproduct of it, but it kind of became that in the Christian culture, we looked at and we judged other people and we judged ourselves based on how pure we were. Not even just in the sexual area, but in our finances and the way that we talked. That's why today, if you're a Christian and your coworkers find out that you're a Christian, what do? Oh, they apologize if they say a bad word, right? Because you are somehow some kind of, super sensitive being that if you hear a 4-letter word, right, that you're going to shrivel up and die. Because of this purity culture that was formed. Now, I'm not here to argue whether or not, you should swear, shouldn't swear, here swearing or not here swearing. But I hope that I'm painting a picture for you of what this purity culture created. It created this idea of sin management, that if we could just manage sin in people's lives, we could just tell them that you can do this, you can't do this. If you do this, then you're bad and you're wrong and you're risking your salvation. If you do live this way, then you're going to be spiritual and, God's going to have a special place for you. And we created this culture of sin management where it forced a lot of people to either, one, pretend, where every Sunday morning they would put on their best and, they would come walk through their church doors and they would, make it look like they have this purity thing down. But then Monday through Saturday, they were living all sorts of ways that would be opposite to that. And that became the norm, only we didn't really realize that was becoming the norm. Until now. Because now we hear about all sorts of people who are doing all sorts of things or being accused of all sorts of things that don't reflect what it means to have a relationship with Jesus. It reflects what it means to pretend to be one thing on the outside in front of people, but then in the darkness, when no one's looking, to be doing something else. Interestingly enough, Joshua Harris, who became very famous in the Christian world for this book, I Kissed Dating Goodbye, came out with another book that talked about courting and this idea that, if you want to honor God, like the people who are going to honor God the most are going to not kiss before they're married, and they're going to do this new thing. They're going to give up dating, and they're going to do this new thing called courting. And this is what it looks like to be as closely as possible to God while in this love stage before marriage. And now we hear, here we are 20 years later, and Joshua Harris is divorced from his wife. And he himself now kind of deconstructing faith and not sure he even calls himself a Christian anymore. And I have to wonder, man, maybe it's not because it's not who God, an issue with God, but it's about what he built his life around thinking following God looked like. This idea of following rules, making sure to dot your I's and cross your T's. And it's created a mess for us. This last week and the week before, there's been news that's come out about a pretty famous Christian artist who's performed and been the lead singer for a couple of different, major Christian bands. And it's been revealed that over the course of his career, he's been involved in drugs and alcohol and some sexual misconduct. And it leaves a scratch in our head. How does a guy who's been such a pillar in Christian radio and as a result of Christendom yet become just another one of these fallen heroes? And it's because we're kind of okay with this celebrity culture, this idea of putting people on pedestals and thinking that just because what we see, everything looks good and it makes us feel good, they're worthy of this position. But these Beatitudes, and this one specifically, blessed are the pure in heart, it's not just for the lowly Christians, it's just not for the super famous, it's something that cuts through all of them. Because the famous Christians and the not so famous Christians, it hits us the same, that it's about our relationship with Jesus. So how do we undo this sin management culture? How do we undo this purity from the outside in kind of culture? And Jesus provides us a way to do that in this beatitude by saying, blessed are the pure in heart, for they will see God. When I think about what this looks like in life, we can't go too far without realizing that David in the Old Testament was someone who was called a man after God's own heart. And he was called that as the prophet was going to look for a new king over Israel. And God says the reason I've chosen him is because he's a man after my own heart. Kind of David's resume up to that point was one that he was just out watching the sheep and being super faithful and writing these psalms and just constantly in conversation with God. And it was that training ground that provided the springboard for him to become the next king of Israel. Now, the unfortunate part is that David did not live a life of perfection. He was not free of some of these purity movement kind of concepts. He got caught up in his own series of scandals. But despite all the scandals that he went through, even in the book of Acts, Paul reaffirms this title that God gave David and calls him a man after God's own heart. How does somebody who committed adultery, multiple wives, committed murder to cover up his adultery, how is somebody with that kind of resume still given the title, a man after God's own heart? And it's because there is a purity process that David stuck to that worked itself from the inside out. Not just based on the outside in, on what he made everybody look like and did in front of people, but what he did on the inside. When he got caught in these sins, he repented and he fell to his knees and he cried out before God. And I wonder, man, how much of that do we really see in our own lives? More often than not, in our own lives, as long as we don't get caught with the people around us, we think we're okay. And we wake up the next day and we go through the same motions, and as long as the people around us, the external eyes don't see what's going on, there's no need to do that. But purity, being pure in heart, is recognizing that God sees this area in our lives that nobody else sees, an internal place in our lives that nobody else sees. And it's there that matters. And it's there that when things start to creep in. Right, Jesus says in the New Testament, if you even look at a woman lustfully, you've already committed adultery in your heart. Right? He sees something that the people around us, your spouse can't see. He sees something inside of us that when you do things like that he likens it to actually committing the act of adultery. Because you and I have this place inside of us, the core of who we are, that speaks volumes to God about what we value and what we're pursuing in our lives. And Jesus brings us back to this place and he says, guys, you have these religious leaders and they do a great job putting themselves together and making it look like they have their lives together for all the people. But the reality is they're nothing but whitewashed tombs with dead bones on the inside. If you want to be happy, the key to happiness is not by putting on a show on the outside where everybody externally thinks you got your act together. He says the key to happiness is to be mindful of this place that's inside of you, the core of who you are that will literally dictate the direction of which you go. And when you are focused on that, being pure, being in right relationship, you're going to set yourself up for happiness. He doesn't set the bar that you have to be perfect. Right? Because purity is not a state. Purity is a process. It's a process from the inside out, a process of recognizing and looking at, what are the things in my life that drive the external things that I do. And when you look at those things and you say, God, I need you to I need you to help me remove some of these things that are inside of me, these desires for things that are not good, then you are on the path to purity and being pure in heart. One of the Psalms that David wrote, he says, as the deer pants for water, so my soul longs after you, oh God. And I wonder, man, how many of us can say that is true about our hearts? How many of us can say that that's the kind of desire and the kind of life that we're living where, sure, from the outside, because maybe we raise our hands or because we have a perfect attendance rate on Sunday mornings, everyone around us thinks that we're pretty desireful of God. They don't know what's going on the other days or when no one else is looking. But David tapped into this idea that, when I'm all alone, when no one's looking, that I would be in a place, a state of mind, a pursuit, that as this deer who's thirsty for water and is panting, that in that same way, my soul, my heart, my core would long after God and what he wants from me. That's really what repentance is. That's really what being a follower of Jesus is. Repentance is just this archery term, this term where we say, we're turning away from the way that we thought we should live, and we're turning towards God's higher ways. And sin is this idea that we're missing the mark, that we're not doing that, we're not pursuing that. And purity is this process where you and I say, God, may from the inside you work inside of me. And Jesus says, when that becomes a pillar of your life and how you interact with the world, he says this, he says, they will see God. And I think, man, there are so many Christians who, they say with their lips, man, I just want to see God, more of God, more of God. And I wonder, why has Christianity in 2025 become so weak and so dull and so impotent? And it's because there's a lot of us who have no problem saying with our lips, but in our hearts, we're far from God. And there's this promise that we can see God. Now up to this point, nobody has ever achieved this and lived. The closest that ever happened was Moses when he's out on Mount Sinai and he's getting the 10 Commandments. He has this desire. He says, God, I want to see you. And God kind of chuckles and he says, oh, that's cute. And he says, no one can do that and live. But here's what I'll do for you, Moses. I'm going to kind of put you in the cleft of this rock, and I'm going to put my hand over the opening, and I'm going to walk by, and you can kind of gaze at my backside. Because nobody who looks at me dead on is going to live. And that happens, and it's described how Moses came off the mountain, and he's just got like this, people can't even look at him because of what this experience has done to him. So up to this point, to see God, that wouldn't really make sense. But Jesus said to his disciples, he says what? He says, if you've seen me, you've seen God. He provided, by being here on earth and living here, this opportunity when they said, help us see the Father. He says, listen, guys, if you see me, you look at me, you can see the Father. This is what the Father looks like. So take a good hard look at the way that I live, the things that are important to me, how I spend my time, how I spend my energy. Because that's what matters in life, the things that I pursue. And towards the end, he says a lot of people are going to be disappointed because everybody's going to come up to me, and at the end there's going to be people who are not going to enter into heaven because they never saw me. And they're going to say, well, how did we never see you? He says, when you didn't give me a cup of water, when you didn't give me something to eat, when you didn't help me, it's like you didn't help God. And then to the other group of people who are going to be allowed into heaven, he's going to say, you guys, you saw me. And they're going to respond like, well, when did we see you? And he says, when you gave a cup of water to the least of these, when you visited in the prison, when you helped when you did those things, you saw me. But in our culture, we chalk up to seeing God like there's got to be a lot of warm and fuzzies, right? There's got to be like everybody's got to be on their knees. There may be certain culture, denominations, jumping and falling, and like there's all sorts of ways that we've come to kind of quantify whether or not God moved. And all the different things that I read and that I see, none of them come close to what Jesus describes. We like to associate with how we feel. Man, that was such a great message. It brought me to tears. Or, man, the music, man, it was on fire today. The chord structure, we got that one bridge 14 times in a row. Like, man, the presence of God moved. And we're not seeing God. That's not what it looks like to see God. Because those things don't reflect a pure heart. Those things reflect a really good orator. Those things reflect a really good sound system and a really good band and even better auto-tune. It doesn't reflect what's going on inside of us, what's happening. And I wonder if this morning we come to a place where our perception of what it means to see God is off. And if that's off, is it possible that our definition and what we expect to have and be pure in heart is also off? I love this example of a jeweler who is purifying metals. As the process goes, that I understand it, what the artisan will do is take the metals and heats the metals up to extremely high temperatures. I mean, the kind of temperatures that are pretty uncomfortable. You got to wear special clothes on and special tools to be able to handle the metals under these circumstances. But he puts the metals in this environment where it heats it up and it begins to melt. And as the metals, the silver, the gold, these other precious metals, as they are liquefying, there's something that begins to happen where the impurities of the metal begin to rise to the surface in this liquid state. And what the artisan jeweler will do is take another tool and begin to scrape off the impurities off the top of these precious metals. And the jeweler knows that he's achieved purity of these metals when he can see his reflection in the metals. That the gold, that the silver in its liquid form has become so pure that it actually acts as a mirror at which he can see himself. Right? That is a process that God is wanting to do on the inside. That is a process, that's a state of being, that's becoming more like him, of discipleship, where we're constantly saying, God, look inside of me, turn up the temperature, bring on the circumstances, bring on the different things in my life that are going to allow the heat to be turned up, where the impurities can rise to the top, and you can scoop them away. But this is a process. It's not just a one and done deal. Like one Sunday morning, you're going to say, God, do this. And that Sunday morning, all the impurities are going to be wiped away and you're going to be good for the rest of your life. Like it's not going to be achieved this side of eternity. But that's not the bar that Jesus sets. He sets the bar as live with this mindset. Live with this purpose, with this ambition to say, is my heart pure? With the things that I look at, with the things that I strive for, is my heart pure? And you're going to be blessed, you're going to be happy when you live in this state of mind of allowing God to purify you from the inside. Because purity is a process, not from the outside in, but from the inside out. And when you allow him to do that, man, it's going to show in all sorts of other areas in your life. But it's going to be a process that you're going to have to do over and over and over again. Because we have a sin nature and we live in a fallen world, and we're going to constantly find things inside of our heart that don't reflect God, that don't reflect who we want to be. And we have one of two options. We can either kind of stuff it or hide it and pretend like that's not happening because, we went to the altar last month and asked God to change our life, and It means that it wasn't meaningful, it wasn't real if we have to do it again. But that's, man, if we have to spend every week, every morning at the altar, in your room, in your closet, just at the altar, say, God, what's inside of me? What is it that you need to turn the heat up on and kind of scoop away? I know you did it last week, and I know you did it the week before, but I need you to do it again this morning, because as the deer pants for water, so, man, my soul longs, is desperate. Not because of what people around me are going to see, not because of what the world's going to see, but for nothing else, just because this is the most important thing to me. This is what it means to follow Jesus. And in that process, that uncomfortable, that hard purification process, Forward Point, you're going to be blessed. You're going to be happy. And collectively, as we decide and choose to go through this process, we're going to become a tool that God can use in the lives of the people around us. You see, one of the biggest reasons that the church has lost its influence and its effect on culture is because it's become this unsterile tool that God can't use, because he goes to use it and it just brings more pain and suffering, because there's all sorts of religious people who on the outside look good, but in a few weeks, in a few years, in a few decades, the truth's going to come out how behind the scenes they were doing a whole lot of stuff that they shouldn't have been. And now it's on this level where not just their community knows, but the entire world knows. And God's just saying, man, is there going to be a people who just love me enough where they just desire inside of themselves to be pure? Would you join me in pursuing that this morning? God, we're so grateful that you don't set the bar where you can't have relationship with us until we've achieved and maintained purity. But in fact, you just quite honestly say, you can't do this without me, and this is going to be a part of our relationship where you just are dependent upon me on constantly, over and over again, going through the process of removing these impurities to where I can see myself. And sometimes there's going to be things that come in and we're going to have to go through it again. But God, you are so patient and so kind and so loving that in fact you take joy in this process, not because we're perfect, but because our heart desires to be in relationship with you, and you want to make that happen. So God, would you help us to be a people who set as a pillar in our life, to be a people who are going to pursue purity in our relationship with you. We love you so much.
Unravel me with a melody. You surround me with a song of deliverance from my enemies, till all my fears are gone. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. From my mother's womb, you have chosen me. Love I've been born again into your family. Your blood flows through my veins. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears were drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and sing. I am a child of God. You split the sea. You split the sea so I could walk right through it. My fears were drowned in perfect love. You rescued me so I could stand and sing. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God. I'm no longer a slave to fear. I am a child of God.
Your love is devoted.
Your love is devoted, like a ring of solid gold, like a vow that is tested, like a covenant of old. Your love is enduring through the winter rain and beyond the horizon, with mercy for today. Faithful you have been, and faithful you will be. You pledge yourself to me, and it's why I sing. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. You father the orphan, your kindness makes us whole. You shoulder our weakness, and your strength becomes our own. You're making me like you, clothing me in white, bringing beauty from ashes, and you will have your bride, free of all her guilt and rid of all shame and know by her true name. And it's why I sing your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips.
You will be praised.
You will be praised, you will be praised. With angels and saints we sing, worthy are you, Lord. You will be praised, you will be praised. With angels and saints we sing, glory are you, Lord. You will be praised, you will be praised. With angels and saints we sing, worthy are you, Lord. You will be praised, you will be praised. With angels and saints we sing, worthy are you, Lord. And it's why I sing your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips. Your praise will ever be on my lips, ever be on my lips.
All these pieces broken and scattered, mercy gathered, mended and whole, empty-handed but not forsaken. I've been set free, I've been set free. Let's sing that again. All these pieces broken and scattered, mercy gathered, mended and whole, empty-handed but not forsaken. I've been set free, I've been set free. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saves a wretch like me. Oh, I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Oh, I can see you now. Oh, I can see the love in your eyes, laying yourself down, raising up the broken to life. Take a failure, you take a weakness, you set your treasure in jars of clay. So take this heart, Lord, I'll be your vessel, the world to see your life in me. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saves a wretch like me. Oh, I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. Oh, I once was lost, but now I'm found. Was blind, but now I see. Oh, I can see you now. I can see the love in your eyes, laying yourself down, raising up the broken to life. Oh, I can see you now. I can see the love in your eyes, laying yourself down, raising up the broken to. Sing it one more time. Oh, I can see you now. I can see the love in your eyes, laying yourself down, raising up the broken to life. You know, I can't go the whole time without sharing something. Hearing Jimmy's conversation with us this morning and thinking about how fitting it is then we talked about singing a song about how his praise will ever be on our lips. And I sometimes ask myself, you know, being raised in the church, and obviously it's really easy to get caught up in a church culture where it's more about what people see and really than what's really going on. And how can we just get to a place where we can really share and be open and honest about our hurts, about our feelings, about things we're going through. And when I think of this song we're about to sing, about how fierce is the love of God, even when David in Psalm 139, he says, where can I go? Where can I go where you're not going to find me? If it's the bottom of the ocean, top of the mountains, there you are. It just reminds me that we can really try to do all these things out of obligation, out of duty. And yet God is just wanting to draw us to himself and say, you know what? I want you to do this because you love me. But you can love me because I first loved you. And I just think when we change and we shift our mindset, not about rules and regulations, but about the heart of the Father, that he would go after the one, leave the rest to find us. So I pray our heart cry today is that we would fall deeper in love with his love. His love is real, it's pure, it's genuine. It says, come on, come to me, all who are heavy and burdened, and I will give you rest. So let's sing this. Before I call, before I ever cry, you answer me from where the thunder hides. I cannot run this heart I'm tethered to. With every step, I collide with you. Like a tidal wave crashing over me, rushing in to meet me here. Your love is fierce, like a hurricane that I can't escape, tearing through the atmosphere. Your love is fierce. Your love is fierce. You cannot fail. The only thing I've found is through it all, you never let me down. You don't hold back, relentless in pursuit. Every turn I come face to face with you. crashing over me, rushing into me here. Your love is fierce, like a hurricane that I can't escape, tearing through the atmosphere. Your love is fierce, like a tidal wave, crashing over me, rushing into me here. Your love is fierce, like a hurricane that I can't escape, tearing through the atmosphere. Your love is fierce. Your love is fierce. You chase me down. You chase me down. You seek me out. How could I be lost when you have called me found? You chase me down. You seek me out. How could I be lost when you have called me found? You chase me down. You seek me out. How can I be lost when you have called me found? You chase me down. You seek me out. How can I be lost when you have called me found? Like a tidal wave, crashing over me, rushing into me here. Your love is fierce, like a hurricane that I can't escape, tearing through the atmosphere. Your love is fierce, like a tidal wave, it's crashing over me, rushing into me here. Your love is fierce, like a hurricane that I can't escape, tearing through the atmosphere. Your love is fierce. Oh, your love is fierce. Oh, your love is fierce. Oh, your love is fierce.
Haley, I just wanted to let
Hold
you
on
know
one
that
second, real quick, guys.
I'm
Before we get to that, there was a question that came in. If you guys can put it to the screen. If not, there was just this question about how do we let somebody know that they've sinned, right? Bringing them to this place where they realize based on their sin that they need a savior. And I just wanted to touch on this before we move on, because it's important for us to realize that the focus on sin brings us back to that kind of sin management strategy. And when I look at the life of Jesus, I don't see somebody who tried to manage sin. The most obvious case is Jesus on the cross, and he's with the thief, and the thief didn't get an opportunity to recognize his sin and go through the sinner's prayer. What happened was he just recognized that Jesus was who he says he was, and that he loved him. And he said, I want to be in a relationship with you. He said, would you remember me when you're in your kingdom? And without getting baptized, without asking Jesus into his heart, somehow Jesus musters up the ability to say, you know what, you're going to be with me in eternity later on. And it's because Jesus focused on relationship, right? Purity is you worry about the sin in your life and allow that purity process to do something so beautiful that the people around you look at you and be like, man, I want to meet that same Jesus. Because somebody who encounters Jesus and wants a relationship with Jesus is going to grow and for himself decide, man, the way that I've been living, if I want to be blessed, if I want to live according to how I was designed, they're going to read the Bible and they're going to recognize that these things are not supposed to be in their life. But that's a decision that they have to make and come to on their own. And what we've done for far too long is, instead of focusing on the sin in our own life, is we've gone around with our fingers to point the sin in other people's lives, thinking that that's some kind of righteous battle. And this morning, I would encourage you to not love the sinner and hate the sin, but to love the sinner and hate your own sin. And I guarantee you that will bring you into opportunity to have conversations with people about a God who loves them. Today's Father's Day. We wanted to give you guys a special gift starting with this video, so check it out.
Hey Lee, I just wanted to let you know that I'm grateful for you and I'm grateful for everything that you do. And I want to let you know that I love you and you're a great father. And I hope you have a great Father's Day.
Hey Dad, happy Father's Day. I am Batman because we grew up watching it, so I still think I'm Batman. But on a more serious note, I just want to take a moment to say thank you for leading by example on how to be a husband and how to be a father. I grew up with a dad who led by example, so because of that, I believe I'm modeling what a godly father and a godly parent should be. I love you, Dad. Have a happy Father's Day.
My dad means to me is he helps me do stuff that my dad lets me play on my tablet when my mom's at Lakeview, and he lets me play with him, and he also lets me do funny stuff, and sometimes we play Guess the Dinosaur game.
Hey Lee, happy Father's Day. I just want to let you know how much I love you and I appreciate you and grateful for everything you do for me. Thank you for being the best role model I could ever ask for. Happy Father's Day. Love you.
Hi, I'm Courtney Sharp, and my dad is Glenn Bladholm. When I think of my dad on Father's Day, a couple of different ideas come to mind. The first is the phrase, hope for the best, but plan for the worst. This is a concept I have not only heard from my dad many times, but also one that I have seen him live out. When my dad decided to bring his family on mountain adventures in the Adirondacks, he put a lot of planning into that. He read every guidebook, pored over topo maps, and carefully studied every route. He even knew how to de-escalate a stressful situation. When we had gotten off our route on a trailless peak and food was low and I was freaking out about being lost, he knew how to helpfully reframe things. Well, what is lost really? He asked. We know we are in New York State. I don't think we've wandered out of the Adirondack Park. We even know what two mountain peaks are between. And we know we are next to a stream. We will figure the way out. And we did, with a map and a compass. And it was helpful to reframe the situation, though I would never admit it at the time, because I was frustrated and hungry, and a squirrel had stolen my snacks. Anyways, the idea of the bigger picture leads me to the next thing that reminds me of my dad, which is his favorite hymn, God Leads Us Along. An excerpt is as follows. Some through the waters, some through the flood, some through the fire, but all through the blood. Some through great sorrow, but God gives a song, in the night season and all the day long. Sometimes on the mount where the sun shines so bright, God leads his dear children along. Sometimes in the valley, in darkest of night, God leads his dear children along. I've been through some fires, some floods, and some darkest night. And the vision that Jesus gives me often during those times is that my Heavenly Father, much like my earthly dad did all those years ago, is leading me through that treacherous terrain, one step at a time, bit by bit, making the path clear. Finally, I would like to say that although I am so very grateful for my dad today, I know that many folks have mixed emotions on this day. Perhaps have lost their dad, or maybe there is some pain or strain in that relationship. If you need a dad hug today, go grab mine. I'm happy to share him, and he's one of the best. Love you, Dad. Happy Father's Day.
Papa is kind, caring, and helpful. My papa is always ready to get ice cream with me.
My dad exemplifies the qualities of servant leadership. He's always putting others' needs ahead of his own. He presents a great example for Jack and I to look up to.
My dad has been a major part of my life, and he has helped me with things that I've ever had trouble on, like whenever I was having trouble with a school or subject, or whenever I was trying to build like a pillow for it, he would help me with that. And if I was feeling sad, he would always comfort me with things to help me feel better. Like if I was feeling sad because I got bad grades, he would help comfort me with that. And whenever if I was scared, he would help me be brave by giving me words of encouragement. Or if I got scared because of a jump scare from a movie or possibly just an animatronic on Halloween, he would always help me with that. And I just love my dad. He's the best father that I could ever ask for.
I just became a dad myself, so I've been thinking a lot about the kind of dad that I had growing up. And and still do to this day, I always thought that my dad was just the coolest guy. He seemingly knew how to do just about everything. He'd been everywhere, he was interested in everything, and he took us on so many adventures. Growing up, we were building saltwater fish tanks and flying model planes and building rockets, and it was just awesome. I love my dad, and I love that he instilled that sense of adventure in me, because I'm also into everything and interested in everything. And I hope that I'm able to be half the awesome dad that my dad was able to be. Love you. Happy Father's Day.
My daddy let me play.
And your daddy lets you play?
My daddy let me play tea party with him.
You plays tea party with him? Okay, Nikki?
No. I love my dad because he gives us boxes to play with. And he loves me so much, that's why I love him.
Lee, you're a blessing to us. You're a blessing to our lives. You helped our family so many times.
Always there for us when we need you.
You're a great father figure and a great brother.
The first person to call whenever we need anything.
Yeah. Lee, we honestly don't know what we do without you.
And we are super grateful for you every single day.
We look up to you.
And we hope you have an amazing Father's Day. We love you.
Happy Father's Day, Lee.
My dad means a lot to me. He helps me through tough times and pushes me to be myself. I don't know what I would do without him.
So I remember being about 7 years old, and 7 to now, Lee has shown me guidance, strength. He's given me the energy to have the ability to do things, and he's showing me how to grow up as a woman. Not only that, he's been the best father figure that we could have asked for, the best grandpa, and he's just always been there. So I thank you for that. We love you, and happy Father's Day.
When I think about my dad, I think about Saturday early morning breakfasts, fishing on a lake, the only road trips I've ever been on, family reunions, food I've never tried before. I think of all the silly dad jokes and all the silly board games we play and how that all shaped me as a person.
Hi, my name is Jacob Russell. I'm also speaking on behalf of my sister Lindsay Russell, who would agree with everything I'm about to say. Joe Russell. He is, first and foremost, the most devout fan for the New York Jets, something I'm proud to say I inherited. Something I also inherited is his love for making people happy with food. It's his #1 love language. I think second to that would be making people laugh, another thing I inherited. Everyone's familiar with his form of comedy, as well as his laugh. I mean, I'm sure if you walked into the church, you could hear it from the stage, him laughing, which is a good thing. And lastly, every time that I bring someone closer to the love and grace of Jesus, I think of him, because I couldn't think of someone that I've ever met more than him that is able to bring people closer to the love of God and spread the word of God and bring him into people's lives and make them happier in turn. I love you, Dad. Happy Father's Day.
Some words that come to mind when I think of my dad are disciplined, dependable, hardworking, steadfast, acts of service. He's always there when you need him to be. And of all the versions of dads out there, I have the best one.
Hi, Dad. Happy Father's Day.
Happy Father's
Day. So we thought it'd be really cool to share a story that we remember, one that always makes us laugh.
I remember when there was an old KFC commercial where in that one there was a family where the father had thought there was bones in the chicken when it was supposed to, they were advertising no bones in that chicken, and we didn't tell him at all. We just wanted to see if he would notice, but apparently he didn't.
He ate like a whole meal.
Yeah, all of it. And when he noticed, he looked at his plate and he was like, "Did I just eat the bones?" Just how the father did in that same KFC commercial.
But we want to say that you are smart sometimes, clearly, kind, and funny. We love you.
We love you a lot.
We love you.
Happy Father's Day.
When it comes to my dad, there's a couple of things that come to mind, like fishing, and nice breakfasts, and his guitar playing, and our game and movie nights, which are all super fun things I love to do with my dad. But I know one of the biggest things that comes to mind is he is such a loving and supporting person, and I'm very honored that I have him as a dad.
Hey Dad, happy Father's Day. Just wanted to let you know how much I appreciate you. You taught me how to work hard and how to take care of the things that we have and how to treat people the right way. Also, I appreciate that you always help whoever needs help in the family or strangers, whoever. You're always there to help people with projects around the house or driving people around and all that. So I just appreciate that selflessness. And happy Father's Day. I love you.
There are many things I enjoy and love about my dad. I love his sense of humor and his taste in movies. And the things I enjoy to do with him are when he has a bonfire and he tells stories from his past, or as some people may say, when the new dad lore drops. But the things I enjoy about him the most are the things that he's taught me. He's taught me how to use a bow, how to cook a good burger, and how to start a campfire. And if someone asks me if there's anything I didn't like about my dad, I would say that God made him perfect. There is nothing I would change if I was given the choice, and I don't know what I would do without him.
Hi, my name is Devania. I am the daughter of Marcel Royal. My father is a wonderful father. I just want to start off by saying Happy Father's Day to you. Thank you for teaching me and my sisters how to become women. And yeah, stepping up to the plate when my mom passed away. I just want to say thank you for being there for me whenever I needed to speak to someone. I also want to say that you are amazing. You're very strong for raising 5 girls. And I also want to say thank you for just showing me the way of life. I also want to say Happy Father's Day, Dad, and thank you so much. I love you.
My dad loves to start new projects, loves to do woodworking and take care of plants. He's just really good with growth, especially the growth of his hair. And he's always been there for me, so yeah, I love my dad.
I'm grateful for my father. Specifically, I think about growing up and he would always call me his Isaac, which means laughter, and realizing how that really instilled a sense of confidence in me to do things that I probably wouldn't have done otherwise if I didn't have this feeling of someone believing in me and then giving me the power to believe in myself. So Dad, grateful for you, thankful for you. I'm also grateful for my father-in-law. Never got to wish him a happy Father's Day because he tragically passed away before we were married, but I'm just grateful for him and for the way that he loved my wife and his daughter, and the stories that my wife tells me just always gives me a sense of how I need to be treating my daughters and what they need and what is helpful for them. So lit and also very grateful for you and thankful for you.
Yes, let's give it a round of applause for all of our dads. I'm not crying, you're crying. Thank you for all of those messages. Thank you guys for everything that you do for us. Thank you for letting someone like me borrow you when I need that fatherly hug. And to all those that are missing our fathers this morning, let us all remember that we do have that Heavenly Father that is greater than anything we could ever ask for. So thank you this morning.
Yeah, I want to echo that sentiment on behalf of the dads. I know if all the dads were standing up here on stage, we would all say thank you. We appreciate the kind words. But more importantly, we do appreciate the love that we get in return. And, we all gladly give of ourselves because we love you dearly. So we thank you for allowing us and giving us the opportunity to be dads to you. And one thing I love about having kids, they know how to humble you. So I am the sometimes smart dad. So there's that. So
Guys, as always, we love to get together in community. We believe in it. We all live in 5 blocks of each other. Let's get it right. So let's all have dinner together this Friday at Love Handles. We're going to have some really yummy Mediterranean food there from 4 to 8. So please join us. Let's break some bread together.
yeah, if you kind of like what we do here at Forward Point, bridging that gap into the community, and you want to participate somehow or find a way to really engage with that, there are ways that you can give that kind of help us do those and have programs and party in the wood and things like that. You can give in person. We have a joy box that's in the back because giving is a joy. If you want, you can text any amount to 84321. You can do it on the Church Center app or online at forwardpoint.org/give.
As always, we have our wonderful prayer team available this morning. If there's anything on your heart that you just need to let go of, please join them in the back. They are confidential. They are wonderful. You can also do a prayer request through the Church Center app if you're not comfortable, and even through our beautiful website. So please utilize our prayer team.
Yeah, and in regards to the prayer team, one of our prayer partners did get a word saying about a right ankle. So if you do have an issue with a right ankle, before you leave, make sure you connect with our prayer partners in the back. Don't leave without your blessing. Also, there was an update on the building fund. If you want to throw that back up. So we're up to 15%, which is awesome. So we're getting there. And thank you for all those who are giving and helping us bridge into that next phase that we need to go to fulfill our purpose here at Eastwood.
Absolutely. Many hands make a light work, so let's stick around. Let's get the palace back better than we found it. And don't forget to pick up the children from upstairs before you head out. And the men, please stick around. We have a yummy treat for you right after.
Absolutely. We love you.
We love you. Thank you so much.